So over the weekend, I had the opportunity to present a workshop at the Spring Mind Body Seminar at the Midwest Buddhist Temple, which is the temple that I go to. And I gave a workshop on meditative movement. We did some yoga, some meditation. And at the end of meditation, I gave a Dharma talk on the basic principles of Aikido, how I was taught them through my dojo, and how those relate to meditation and Buddhism and just how they guide me through life. And a couple people have asked me to repeat it or give them a version that they can look at at their leisure. So I'm going to make a video version quickly for you today. So the first basic principle, or I'll tell you all of them first, it's easy to remember as KREW, K-R-E-W. The first one is keep one point. The second one is relax completely. The third is extend ki. And the fourth is wait underside. So for keep one point, that literally means finding that point that's a couple inches right below your belly button. That's your center of mass right there, your 1 point, your hara or dantian. And that's your center of mass. That's the point at which all movement is connected, right in your center. So that's the physical and literal meaning of keep one point and keeping mindful of that center of mass. But another way to think of it would be when you're going throughout your day or going throughout difficult situations, being able to find that sort of center point that keeps you centered, that centers your mind. So when we are meditating, when we're practicing martial arts, when we're going on a walk, doesn't matter what you're doing, but throughout these simple or complex situations, if you're able to center your mind and find one point of focus, one point of deep concentration, or one point of kind of this feeling of relaxed centeredness, it makes dealing with difficulties a lot easier. It makes being in an overwhelming situation a lot easier. If a lot of things are moving around and changing in your life, but you're able to find that kind of centered focus, that calm focus, it allows you to grapple with difficulties in a lot easier way. It allows you to take the kind of one thing at a time approach in which you devote your attention to the task that is in front of you, complete it, and move on. You devote your attention to the moment in front of you, move through it, and then you're in another moment in which you can devote your full focus to. So keep one point, keep your focus, keep your concentration, and keep your center. The second principle is relax completely. This is a tricky one because it is not attainable, but it is always the goal. So in order to relax completely, right, if you think of the posture, when I sit straight up and take a deep breath, I'm able to relax. If I'm crouched down, if I'm reading a book, I'm in grad school, right? If I'm reading a book and getting super focused and kind of overwhelmed by the amount of work I do, I tend to hunch my shoulders, my lower back starts to hurt. All of these things are because tension is building up, because I'm letting my mind go. I'm letting these things that are agitating me or frustrating me take over even my physicality. And so being able to relax, being able to sit with a posture that your spine is aligned, literally is the most relaxing posture once you've stretched out your body, because gravity isn't, if you're leaning forward, gravity's pushing on my spine, it's causing me to hunch even further, it's pulling on all the muscles. But if I'm sitting straight up, gravity's allowing me to just stack my vertebrae. And so for moving out of the physical, to be able to relax completely, to be able to relax enough through situations that it allows us to keep our perspectives, that it allows us to stay unrattled in confrontation or with stress, can help gracefully flow through life. I think it's really hard to do. It's really hard to do at all. It's really hard to do in sustained amounts of time, but through meditation or whatever your personal practice is, You start to gain that sense of calm. You find how to access it, and then slowly you find how to stretch those moments of calm throughout your day so that for more and more periods of time, you are relaxed. And that affects your whole life. Each situation, if you come into it relaxed, has a much higher likelihood of staying relaxed and staying smoothly navigating whatever situations you find yourself in. The third principle is extend ki. In Aikido, ki is your energy or your spirit. It's the ki in Aikido. You can think of that as your intent. You can think of that as your purpose or what you're setting your mind to, if you want to make it non-esoteric or non-Buddhist. But you could also just think of that as your breath. That is a simple thing that each one of us does. We breathe in, and it's not just from right here, right? We're not breathing in this little bubble. This is not our air that's just trapped right here just for us. We breathe out, we don't breathe out just for right here. We're not stuck in this world that's just right in front of our own faces, right? When you breathe in, you can visualize you're breathing in all the air that is being presented. When you breathe out, you're breathing out into the air and into the trees, which will feed back into our oxygen, and we create those cycles. But we're also sharing all this air with everybody around us. And so being able to connect to one simple breath, taking a deep breath, a moment of reset, a moment of repose, can help in conflicts with others to realize, hey, we're all here, trying to breathe as easy as possible. And it can be a reminder to use compassion in that breath. Thich Nhat Hanh has some really good talks and writings about compassionate meditation, and where he imagines breathing in the suffering of others, breathing out love and compassion to them. And so things like this are really great, but even simpler if that's too difficult, if you're too agitated, or if your heart is too heavy that day. Just taking one breath and imagining all the situations that had to come to be for you to take that breath, and that breath to be the oxygen that's coming in your lungs, can be motivating to just calm down and to let your breath settle, to not hyperventilate and send chemical and physiological messages to the body that we're in stress, we're in fight mode. To calm the breath can be really helpful, which is obviously not a revolutionary thought, but it is a nice reminder, I think. And also very difficult. Something simple, but very difficult, as always. And the last principle is weight underside. In martial arts or in Aikido, weight underside would be like when I lift my arm out. Yes, I'm lifting, but there's also a heaviness and a rootedness that keeps my arm centered down, right? I'm grounded and rooted to the floor. Even when I run or when I jump, there's that sense of connectedness and rooting into the earth that has to take place as well to not lose your control. And so to think of that more simply would be finding that sort of weightedness and in your sense of self, and finding that rock within you that keeps you grounded. And so when you're navigating difficult situations, when we are at odds with a loved one and there's that frustration and disappointment, or when we even have frustration coming from within ourselves, if we have a stable, weighted, kind of rooted feeling that we can nourish each day, it takes a lot of the uncertainty, the insecurity, the power away from uncertainty and insecurity in situations. And so when you meet people with different worldviews, when you meet people who are highly at odds with the way you view the world to be, it's less frightening. There's less of that fear, anger response because they aren't shaking your worldview. Your worldview can't be shaken because you can't be shaken. They only offer you the chance for expanding your worldview or expanding your sense of perspective. So that was a little long-winded, but that's kind of how I know how to talk. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you made it to the end of these 10 minutes, good for you. And yeah, I hope you found at least one thing to take away. And if you didn't, wash it away and continue with your day. All right. Have a great day.